It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
So say you've decided you're ready to go ahead. You're going to save for your kids' college. Mary asked a question. She said, my husband and I don't agree on how to prepare for our two kids' college expenses. He says he wants to buy more rental property and use that to cover it. And she said she just wants to invest in a 529 and taxable access. What are your thoughts?
Oh, man, this is what's so crazy about Mary's question. What a great question is that both the things she mentioned, 529 savings as well as rental property, are both step 8 of the financial order of operations. So it's such an interesting thing, because if you go to moneyguy.com/resources, we do have the 9 steps of the financial order of operations. You can download this free deliverable. If you want a deeper dive, you can go to learn.moneyguy.com. We actually have a course that goes into topics just like what Mary's asking about here. But I do think this is going to be one, because they're related in the fact that they're both step 8 of the financial order of operations, but they're doing completely different things. If you think about education, this sounds like a conversation, Mary, you and your spouse are trying to work through. How much of college do you actually want to fund? Because I think that's the first question y'all need to ask. Is this going to be a 50% of college expenses? Is this going to be 100% because you want them to come out of college with no expenses covered? Or is this, hey, we need more rental properties because, yes, maybe there's a side benefit that it could help us pay for college, but the reality is that this is something that your spouse is really passionate about because this is his strategy to build more financial independence for your household. So I know that's not a perfect answer, but I do feel like you're asking even though the same step of financial order of operations, step 8, they're doing completely different things, and you have to figure out what y'all's why is to kind of know where to navigate next.
Yeah, I would think through the logistics of each one, right? So saving in a 529 is pretty easy, right? I take money out of my paycheck now, I put it in a 529, I invest it in a broad basket of low-cost investments. It grows through time, I get to college, or my kid gets to college, I pull it out, I pay for expenses. It's kind of like set it and forget it a little bit, especially if you use like one of the age-based options inside of there. Rental property is a little bit different. I mean, let's kind of play this through. Say you go buy a rental. Is it the cash flow that's going to pay for college, or is it the appreciation on the property that's going to pay for college? You got to kind of figure that question out. Both of those are taxable. Neither one of those are like incredibly tax efficient relative to the tax freeness of 529s. And there's some logistics. You got to find a good property. You got to upkeep and maintain the property. You got to keep tenants inside the property. And then when it comes time to pay for school, you got to figure out what to do with the property. Do I sell it, meaning liquidate, trigger taxes on that, use that to pay? Do I continue to hold it, have the cash flow coming in, have that fund? It's almost like apples and oranges. I think you could accomplish your goal either way. One of them is just going to take a lot more effort and intention, and there's a few more roadblocks you kind of have to get through and around, where the other is kind of like an easy set it and forget it. And in reality, you said the word financial independence. If using rental properties and building up a rental portfolio is part of your journey to financial independence, it may not be an either or. There may be, hey, we're going to aim to have 50% of college covered through a 529, and the other half we're going to cover through our rental properties, through the income or through selling them, or whatever that answer is for your family. It might not be a complete either or. It could potentially be a both.
Well, and I got something that adds to that, is that because I always hate to hear families that are trying to figure things out and they're sitting on two sides of one decision, because maybe the great reconciler could be the tax benefit. Because if a 529 in your state that you specifically live in is going to pay you essentially to contribute, meaning that you put the money in the 529, the set it and forget it strategy, but it gives you an annual tax benefit, y'all might be so united on the fact that you like minimizing your taxes that at a minimum you're going to do some of the 529 saving to take advantage of the tax benefit within your state. So go to savingforcollege.com and they'll give you state-specific data on what tax benefits you might qualify for. And then after you satisfy those tax benefits, the great reconciler, because we all hate paying taxes, you can then figure out where the next dollar should go towards more 529, or should that next dollar go towards this rental real estate like your spouse is suggesting. But that's a compromise that might fit right in between the two.